How do I know that my request is authentic? Like from my mind I can desire like all kinds of things, like a new car or like a huge house. I have like a judgment that is it really like authentic, or maybe my heart desires something else.
This is a really good question, isn't it? Because you're living and have lived a lot of life experience, you've asked for a lot of things, and you've asked repeatedly for some. And in this vibrational reality, in this gestation and gathering cooperative components, what your inner being has noticed, it's not the reason for it, but your inner being has noticed that many of the things that you're asking for are about the same thing. You want a new car for many reasons. For exhilaration, for a sense of well-being, for maybe a little bit of safety and security, for dependability, for comfort, for steadying yourself, for preparing yourself for the things that really matter. That new car, you could judge it fanciful and greedy, or you could acknowledge it as a point of stability that is the true nature of your being. More money, which is about freedom. It's about getting to explore your passions. It's about being free to move in the direction of what calls you. We can't think of any more important vibrational reasons. And you see, your vortex is able to synthesize all of that out, because over time, when you were playing on the playground as a boy, you were asking for some of these things. You wanted what you called fairness, and you wanted respect, and you wanted to both give it and get it. You wanted alignment. You wanted life force. So much of it was already there. Your vortex existed even before you came into your body. Your vibrational reality existed even before you came into your body. And the very first requests, you just put them there. You see. And so it's not possible for your inner being to hold and promote what isn't good for you, or isn't by your standards what you consider to be good. There are so many ways of going about things. Esther was contemplating with a friend yesterday about something like parenting, two parents talking with each other about the way to raise their children, and maybe disagreeing with each other and arguing, or maybe a neighborhood committee debating and arguing with each other about how things should be done in their neighborhood. But down there in the depths or core of all of them are the same things. We want well-being for our family. We want well-being for each other. And even though we have different ideas of how to go about it, there is this core intention at the heart of things, no matter how big our differences seem to be out here on the surface. So if you get back to that core intentions, we know that our words are not enough, because words don't teach. It's only life experience that teaches. But we want you to know that what's in your vortex is authentic, and it is real, and it is yours, and you have put it there. And the best of what you have asked for is there, calling you to the completion of it. It's what creation is, you see. So let's just take another minute. So here's this vortex, and we've been saying to you things like, find a way to get into the vortex, do the processes and get into the vortex, meditate, stop doing that thing that you're doing that's keeping you out of the vortex and go into the vortex. We've been saying, get on your high flying disc. We've tried to find many different ways to get you to get up to speed or release the resistance so that you can be in sync with who you really are. So now we're saying to you, so here is this vibrational reality that is emanating a signal, and here you are far away from it because you're angry, or far away from it because you're worried. In fact, you're so tired you can hardly even stay awake. And then you meditate, and for a minute you're closer to it, and then you go back to your normal day. But here it is, and then the next day you meditate, so you're closer to it, and then you go back to your normal day. But it stays steady, and then you meditate, and because you've managed to quiet your mind, some of what your vortex is and knows is received by you, and now you're changed. You're not the same. The mix of your human physical frequency is now different. And then you go back to your normal world, but you are more sensitive now. And then you meditate again and again, and before you know it, the gap between you and you doesn't happen as often, and is in vibrational alignment more often. And now you begin to feel the rhythm of your inner being. You begin to feel the confidence that you ask for. Not necessarily the car, but the confidence. You feel the satisfaction of feeling good in your body. You feel an enthusiasm that you haven't been feeling, not the car, but an enthusiasm in your body that's satisfying. Ideas begin to come to you, not the car, but whatever you're ready for begins to come. Not the car yet, but you're not focused upon the absence of the car. That's the difference. You're not beating the drum of the absence of the car. You're not stuck over there in step 1. Now you're focused upon step 3. So these thoughts turn to things, and now rendezvous are happening and exhilarating experiences are happening. And you find yourself saying to people, I don't even feel like the same person. And they'll say, well, what changed? And you say, I can't tell you, you'll think I'm weird. What changed? Well, I stopped beating the drum of the things that were bothering me. Well, how'd you do that? Well, I stopped thinking about them. Well, how'd you do that? Well, I started thinking about other things. Well, what other things? Really quiet things, really subtle things, really basic things, really general things that didn't stir me up. You know when you go home and there are those things that you just don't bring up to your dad? There's just those topics you stay off, and then somebody does and you go, I told you, don't bring that up. Well, you're fighting those battles with yourself. There are just topics that you just shouldn't bring up with yourself. You just don't need to stir those things up. Because when you stir them up, it keeps you from being in alignment. And as more time goes by and you don't stir them up, they dissipate into nothingness. They no longer have any connection or attachment to you because you are vibrationally no longer activating them. So you started over in this new vibrational place, and these are the things that have precedence. These are the things that have priority. These are the things that have real depth. These are the things that have real staying power. And then your life begins to reflect more of those things, you see. It's the satisfaction factor you're reaching for.
I've been feeling this fatigue quite often. Like not being enthusiastic and passionate.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? It
means that there's contradiction in your vibration. It means you have resistance. It means you've been focusing upon things that your inner being doesn't focus upon. And it means you've been pinching yourself off from your resources. Because this receptive mode, another really good name for it, is replenishing mode. So it means you've been practical.
Yeah.
It means you've been sort of human and observant. It means you've been really doing a good job on step 1. But you can give that up for a while because you've got enough in your vortex to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes.
Okay. How to better understand it when I'm feeling it again, like I don't feel like doing anything or just sleeping and...
You see, that's the thing that's interesting. When the momentum of resistance is strong, maybe you've been worrying about things, maybe you've been pushing against things.
Oh, yeah.
And those things are active within you. So even though your inner being is calling you, you're not able to go because of your vibration. So it really is like this. So here's your vortex and your inner being calling you toward it, because that's where everything that you want is. You put it there. And your inner being is standing there with it, calling you toward it. And when you don't go, when your thoughts are calling you literally away from it, have you ever experienced a literal tug of war where there are 5 of you on one end of a big rope and 5 of you on the other end of a big rope? If you are equally matched, it is exhausting. It's exhausting. You just can't keep that up. Pretty soon you want a nap. And so that's sort of what's going on. And so the good news is you wouldn't be exhausted if your inner being weren't calling you. Because if your inner being weren't calling you, there'd be no struggle. So it's about letting go of the struggle. It's about letting go of what's bothering you, which isn't an easy thing to do. That's the reason that we were talking about meditation, because meditation will help you let go of the struggle. In fact, quiet in your mind, we've been telling our friends this for quite a long time. We teach meditation because it's easier to teach you to have no thought than to have pure positive thought. Because you can't change a negative thought to a positive thought all at once. But you can quiet your mind if you care about it. What's bothering you?
Many things, like hundreds of things.
Yeah. So we have some questions for you.
Yeah.
Have you been listening to us for a while, or is...
Yeah, a few years.
Do you accept that when you're bothered by something, that you're automatically asking for something for an improvement?
Yeah.
And do you believe that you've been asking, and do you believe that the asking is strong? Do you believe that your inner being really knows what you want and is on it and is calling you? So we want to ask you, all of you really, because you're not so different from almost everyone. Esther was watching television the other day. She was watching politics. And then she felt like she was going to die. She felt lifeless in her body. And she actually thought that she might want to die. And then she began to laugh, and she was all alone while she was having this experience. And she held out her hand as if it was a little cup full of poison, and she just kept touching. Not dead yet. Because she knows that when she focuses upon things that she cannot do anything about and feels the injustice of them and feels empathy for those who are feeling the discomfort of them, that she has put herself in a powerless place. So much so that she really was feeling lifeless. Now, fortunately, Esther knows. She knows that she can meditate. She knows that she can quiet her mind. She knows that she will bounce back quickly. In fact, we think that's what goes on with so many of you. You're so good at bouncing back, you're willing to eat poison. But what we want you to understand is life is supposed to feel good to you. And so eat a little of it. That's what contrast is. And launch your rockets of desire. And then get general enough in your thoughts. That's what meditation will do. It will quiet your mind back to the basics enough that then new thoughts about all of those new pathways can be made. It's like this. You don't mean to do it, but all of you do it. Esther too, is that you know what you don't want and you know what you do want. So you make an effort to get back to what you do want with many of the processes. Esther uses every process that we've ever offered. Focus wheels. She writes thousands of focus wheels. She tries to get on rampages of appreciation. In other words, she tries to find positive thought. So you participate in a thought that doesn't feel good, and then you improve it, and then you participate in a thought that doesn't feel good, and you improve it, and you participate in a thought that doesn't feel good, and you improve it, and you participate in a thought that doesn't feel good, and you improve it, and then you participate in a thought that doesn't feel good, and you improve it, and pretty soon you just make a little rut, a little groove. Even though your inner being's way over there, you can't quite make it out of that rut. It's like you've got a leash that you only let yourself out a little ways on it before you jerk yourself back. The other day, we had a really good conversation with a nice man who was having a hard time on a lot of things. In fact, he reminded us of the way you were feeling. And so we said, just call out some negative emotions, and we're going to tell you the word that we would use to describe that negative emotion. So he said discouraged, and we said disconnected. And he said angry, and we said disconnected. And every word that he offered, we said disconnected, because it's all the same thing. Doesn't matter what word you use, it's disconnected from who you are. It's not receiving. It's not replenishing. It's too much poison. So then, later in the conversation, we were talking about what the remedy is. What is the remedy when you're discouraged? Meditation. What's the remedy for when you're angry? Meditation. When somebody encouraged Jerry and Esther in 1984 to meditate, they left that place saying to each other, meditation is so weird. One day, someone told Jerry that she could see his aura, and he just avoided her for the rest of the time. That stuff doesn't seem practical. Here I am in the real world with things to do and places to go and people to see and so on. And you've been trained to be objective and weigh the pros and the cons and the pluses and the minuses. And it feels logical to observe. It does. But you've got to put it into context. Observation of what is, constant observation of what is, will hold you only in what is. And this is what's so interesting about this. As you have been observing what is and launching a rocket, and observing what is and launching a rocket, and observing what is and launching a rocket, and here's your inner being over here with all of these rockets calling you over here. But when you keep observing only what is and you don't go, it is exhausting. You got to go. Which means you've got to find some way of letting go of what is. And you don't have to let go of what is all day long. Don't do that. Go where you need to go. Keep eating, feeding your children, go to work, earn money, all of that stuff. Don't take long naps. Do take long naps, but not long naps. But find a way to quiet your mind enough that you can begin to let some of what you've been asking for come in.